Hello, you are listening to the OmniTalk Fast Five, brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Firework, Sezzle, and Silk. Headline number one, Chris, was originally dubbed zombie stores by The Information. Amazon appears to be sitting on a number of unopened Amazon Fresh sites. I bet there's a lot of listeners in this podcast who can relate.
For sure.
This, Not That, which is a newer publication we're featuring on the Amazon Retail podcast, is reporting that at least 7 built-out locations are sitting idle in California, New Jersey, New York, and Pennsylvania, and that does not include reports of other zombie locations, we'll call them,
locations.
in Connecticut, Chicago, and Minneapolis. According to Axios here in Minneapolis, one location near us in Eagan, Minnesota is built, but there is no drywall or flooring and no signs of interior construction or any interior build out.
It makes me wonder, how's it built? like if those things are all missing.
I mean, I'm guessing it's just like the steel frame or something,
right.
but the same
all the fixtures are in.
The same holds true for the stores in Eden Prairie, Burnsville, and Coon Rapids, and also Arden Hills, Minnesota. All Amazon has to say on the matter is that we do not comment on our future roadmap, as we all know and know well from Amazon. Chris, what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think that's all Amazon can say. Number one, I mean, they can't say, yes, we're going to open. No, we're not. Like, that signals too much. So strategically, it's the only play they have. But I think the story is important for a number of reasons. I think it's telling that Amazon could indeed be having trouble with its fresh stores. And I wonder if the reason isn't because grocery is just really, really hard to do.
Sure.
As cool as Just Walk Out technology is, which, believe it or not, we've probably talked about more than any other podcast out there, I would guess. It's still not that big of a differentiator or a hook compared to traditional grocery, because there's a lot you have to give up potentially in the Amazon experience to get the full value of it.
Right.
Especially when you look at the fact that like self-checkout machines are working pretty darn well these days, especially for those smaller size grocery trips. So it makes me wonder if my takeaway here isn't that we're starting to see Amazon go the way of Tesco a la Fresh and Easy back in 2009, 2010, where they tried to enter the US market, failed because pulling off grocery is hard. But I don't think that should detract from the point that the tech is still valuable. It still works great in smaller formats, which is why we've probably seen Amazon pivot more towards the suburban concept here. That's what they've continued to open. They seem to have stalled Amazon Fresh. I can't even remember when the last one opened, but they just recently opened a Suburban Go. And it also signals, though, that Just Walk Out can be a point of differentiation for a traditional grocer that already has a well-established customer base and experience. So that's why I look to places in Europe like Tesco, Reva, Aldi. They're continuing to invest in that space because I think it is important. But how Amazon is going to impact the grocery landscape may be a question at this point in time.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to kind of frame it up. And for me, the question is about like what the tech is too that they're considering and what the next best move is. So is it going to be fully autonomous? Is it going to be this hybrid version? Is it going to be dash carts and, the opportunity to just go in and check out as you normally would? But I think the important thing to call out is that these spaces, whether they end up getting built out as full, 40,000 square foot grocery stores or a hybrid of that, they're still valuable as micro warehouses, as pickup points for, as small versions of, or a satellite for an Amazon customer to visit. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see, some of them even consider shrinking the footprint to be more convenience or, small grocery trip setup, and then using the back of house for more of that package delivery, some of those other services, a place for people to, drop off packages, that kind of thing.
Which is a really good point when you think about it, because what do you think about Amazon, right? It's about price, speed, and convenience. So should they be playing in full service grocery? I think that begs the question. Or should they be playing in the convenience style thing like you just brought up? I think that's a great point.
I think what's interesting about this though, Chris, while I was in California, this is anecdotal, but right behind us at breakfast the day that we left was a group of, I would say, 75 plussers. They were talking about Amazon Fresh and having this I was surprised at their demographic and talking about the Amazon Fresh grocery store and how much they love it and how much they love the technology, which means I think what you were getting at before, like there is a value to this in some part, parcel, but like how do you as Amazon figure out the right approach, especially when you're launching this concept for the first time?
Well, and at the end of the day, they could just be going slow to go fast. So we'll find out.
Maybe
right?
it
I don't
could
think
be,
we know.
Yeah, it could just be like, surprise, we're launching all 80 locations.
Which we've talked about before.
Yeah.
And the clickbait should not be a distraction to that. That's still a possibility
way.
here as well.
No way.